The rumors were true about this film. I am so heartbroken. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and I'm here today with another video for Studio Ghibli Month. And as you can clearly tell by my expression, my tone, and my body language, I'm not too excited to be talking about this film. This film is a black eye on Studio Ghibli. The fact that it's even a part of a lineup as great as Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, Only Yesterday, Grave of the Fireflies, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle is an insult. An insult to those films. What film are we talking about today? That would be the atrocity known as Tales from Earthsea. And joining me in this review is my good friend and fellow YouTuber, Robert from otherobert, who actually was the one to choose to review this. So I didn't force him to watch this. He chose it on his own volition, but I do want to say, I'm so sorry that this was your introduction to Studio Ghibli, Rob. I should have picked it for us, man. Like, I just feel so ashamed. But hey, introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hey guys, my name is Robert and I run the YouTube channel otherobert, and I am here to review Tales from Earthsea with Tony the Black Critic Guy. A review I was very excited to do because Tony and I haven't done a collab like this in a very long time, but I wasn't very happy with my choice.
Now, Tales from Earthsea takes place in the mystically dull land of Earthsea, and apparently somebody is fucking with the balance of brouhaha, which is causing the dragons, who apparently have not been seen for a very long time, to appear in the land, and they have this really cool fight at the beginning of the film that lasts literally 15 seconds. And then you don't see dragons until the very end of the film, 1 hour and 45 minutes later. And the king has a council, they get together and they discuss it, and like, okay, we gotta figure out the problem. And the king's about to go to his quarters, but then he gets attacked and killed by a random kid. And we later find out that that very kid was the son of the king named Aaron, and he killed his father, ran away from home, he's in the desert, and he's about to be mauled by wolves, but he gets saved by the only cool character in the entire film, Sparrowhawk, and he's like, "You must come with me, young Padawan. I'm gonna teach you the ways of the we're gonna figure out how to fix the balance." Yes, the balance. And they go to this one town, and some shit happens, and oh god, it's so hard to keep up with this film because there's so much happening, but at the same time, nothing at all is happening. I mean, they go to this city, and the main character, Aaron, whom I'm going to refer to throughout the entire review as Bitchface. Bitchface saves this one girl from being kidnapped and put into slavery, to then only get kidnapped and put into slavery, and then his ass gets saved by Sparrowhawk again, just Deus Ex Machina out of the way. And we find out that there's this one guy named Cobb, and he's the reason why the balance of brouhaha is been tampered with and it's uncontrolled, and they gotta put a stop to his evil ways. Yeah, fun, excitement, right? So I'm gonna let Rob give his thoughts on this film first, because I seriously need to sit and contemplate how I feel about this film, because I need more time, guys. I need more time. Rob, can you give me more time?
I'm a very, very big animation fan, but I've never actually have seen the Studio Ghibli films. I love Pixar, I love Disney, and I very much love several animes such as Sailor Moon and Sailor Moon Crystal. My Goddess, which I also know Tony has reviewed in here, is a fantastic anime. But the Studio Ghibli films are movies that I never really got into, and I thought, oh, this would be a great opportunity to look at them. And Tony gave me a list to pick from, and I picked Tales from Earthsea because the cover of it has a kid with the dragon. And honestly, I love fantasy, so I thought dragons means fantasy, means epic adventure, means very interesting characters, a cool villain, and I got part of that as I watched the film, but I also didn't get a movie that I think has any replay value whatsoever. The English voice acting in this film is fantastic. I did a couple pauses and rewinds to hear the original Japanese and the English voice acting right after. I honestly, fantastic dub. It's very, very well done. As a fan of anime, I am always an advocate of just listening to it in the original Japanese audio. So I think that's a testament to the Disney dubbing cast here because, for example, Timothy Dalton is fantastic as Sparrowhawk. Willem Dafoe, he played the Green Goblin. Spider-Man plays Cobb the villain so well. So the voice acting is spot on. We learn that Cobb created this balance because he fears death. I really did enjoy because I felt such a Lord Voldemort vibe. If you guys are fans of the Harry Potter universe, you are going to sense Voldemort here. And his animation was fantastic. The way he died was great. Even his motives. Fearing death is something I think a lot of people can relate to. It's also a very big issue with Aaron. But again, I think Aaron just has developmental problems in terms of the writing. But Cobb, he's a villain, so you just kind of get his whole spiel right away and you accept it. There's just something, I don't mean to do like double standards, but you expect your main character to connect to on some level. I had no connection to Aaron. But Cobb, I was like, ooh, he's magical. He has these crazy plots. His animation is quite stellar. And he has a great voice actor, so I like Cobb in that regard. The prince, Aaron, has no remorse over the death of his father and no fear for the consequences of it. Like, if you kill someone, you should be very fearful of that, unless you're a total sociopath. And he is not designed to be a sociopath. In fact, he's very, very humble, but there's just something about him that he just has no regard for life. It's explained due to the balance, but even after the balance is shifted and his personality returns to normal, he still is like, oh, I killed my dad, I'm gonna go face the problem. But he's not like, I killed my father. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, are you really that irremorseful? That's not a word. Are you really that not upset by what you've done? We learn more about the four characters while they're on the farm, and that's also a problem. You would think you would learn a lot about these characters, but you seem to learn nothing. So I say a lot, but you kind of just learn about like what's going on in their very moment, but nothing gets really revealed so much about their past. Like, for example, Theru's transformation into a dragon and her powers are so surprising, which I guess people could say is a good thing where you're not expecting it, but there was not even a hint, and you know very little about her past. You find out she was abused as a child, but you don't even see it. I don't know, I just felt that the way we learn about the characters wasn't done well at all. I think there's a big problem here with the writing, and which is really unfortunate because just from the cover it looks like such a fantastic film, but I guess covers can be misleading. I really just found so many issues with the writing and the way the characters were developed. The only character in the movie that I thought was relatively well developed was the villain in Sparrowhawk. Sparrowhawk is amazing, and like you don't even need to have a tons of development with Sparrowhawk, but you kind of get his whole vibe without even having to know him. It's again like a weird way they've done it. But when you want to connect to the main character, the prince, you're like, what's wrong with him? And even his love interest, Theru, you kind of go, well, she's kind of off-putting. The ending scene when she transformed into a dragon was amazing. So this is where the movie does shine. It has a very good voice acting cast, as I already said, but the animation of this movie is stellar, and it's really what allowed me to watch it, because it's an hour and 50 minutes long. It is a very, very long animated movie. And every scene is drawn so well. It's like a moving painting. It's beautiful. It's so beautifully crafted, and I absolutely loved it for that purpose. The animation just blew my mind. I thought the characters have a very distinctive design. I'm a fan of a lot of 90s animation, especially the Disney Renaissance animation is a good example of that, but also, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh! is 2000s, but the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime from 2000 2004, Sailor Moon from 1990s, I thought that was that's like a very unique and interesting anime style. I guess I like the show and magical girl style. Here, this is like a new style of animation for me. It's the Ghibli style, and I thought Ghibli just does fantastic. And I do want to watch more of their films. I just hope it doesn't have the same results that Earthsea had on me. This movie isn't tarnishing my opinion of Studio Ghibli because, as I said, I think the animation is excellent. Their Japanese voice acting is quite fantastic too. But I just have issues with the way they approach the story. So anyway, if I had to give this movie a rating, I'd probably give it it's kind of low, but I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 just because I didn't connect to any of the characters, but I was just so blown away by the animation, the acting, which again is what was really its saving grace for me.
Wow. You gave this film way more props than I will, or that it even deserves. But you know what? I understand why, Rob. I mean, after all, this was your first Studio Ghibli film. Your introduction to this great, wonderful, magnificent company. What a hell of an introduction, huh? Now, this film was co-written and directed by Goro Miyazaki, the son of the critically acclaimed visionary director and co-founder of Studio Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki. And it was also his directorial debut. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, this was his first ever feature-length film. And from what I saw, he never directed anything before this film. So, it was his first time making a film. And you know what? It clearly shows, as this film lacks any sort of charm, any sort of depth, any sort of intrigue, and any of the magic that can be found in a Studio Ghibli film. He had no understanding as to what made their films so great. I mean, from his story to his characters, his music, the animation, all of it pales in comparison. It is like the lowest of the low, at least when compared to other Studio Ghibli films. Hell, this film makes Ocean Waves looks like an epic masterpiece. Ocean Waves, a made-for-TV movie. This was a theatrical released film. They released it in theaters. And it can't even live up to the same quality as a film that came out nearly 2 decades before it. I can't even do a normal review for this film because I'm so upset with it. You know, I went in giving it the benefit of the doubt. I heard the rumors telling me how this is the worst Studio Ghibli film ever made, but I said to myself, you know what? That doesn't really mean much because, you know, Studio Ghibli films, no matter how bad they are still better than most films out today. I mean, shoot, I can watch The Cat Returns over and over again more than I can watch most films that have been released. I could watch Ocean Waves over and over again more than any of the animated films I've seen this year, like Polar Shit. You know, I always thought that the bottom of the barrel for Studio Ghibli would still be high art when compared to other films. Then I saw Tales from Earthsea, and the gods have fallen. You know, it's like that time where Pixar, after delivering us hit after hit after hit, I mean WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Cars 2. Same thing here. Spirited Away, Cat Returns, Howl's Moving Castle, Tales from Earthsea. Whose idea was it to let Goro Miyazaki, a man whose profession before directing this film was landscaping, direct an animated feature? Hell, even his father said he shouldn't do it because he lacked the skills and experience to do so. Yet, nobody listened to Miyazaki, a veteran in the animation field for 3 decades. Where to begin? What made this? You know what? Before I go into the bad, let's talk about some of the good. I like this character, Sparrowhawk. He reminds me so much of Lord Yupa from Nazca of the Valley of the Wind, and he also has that hat that Ashitaka wears. So he's like a mix between those two characters, and he is without question the most interesting and badass character in the entire film. I wish the film was about him instead of Bitchface, and we'll get to Bitchface soon. But yes, I loved, or at least I enjoyed, Sparrowhawk. He made this film somewhat bearable, even though not that much. I mean, he's not even in the film that much. And the animation, okay, let me talk about the animation. It's not bad. It's just that when compared to other Studio Ghibli films, it's low quality. I mean, sure, there are some scenes here and there where it's like high quality animation where the budget really went to, but most of the animation is very lifeless and static, lacking any sort of flair, any sort of uniqueness, anything to help it stand out. I was looking at the backgrounds and I was saying to myself, why do the backgrounds just feel so blah to me? I mean, it's not like they're bad. There's a lot of artistry put into it, a lot of attention to detail, but it just felt so blah, like there was just no passion put into it. And that's because, you know, in previous Studio Ghibli films, and this includes The Cat Returns and Ocean Waves, at least the backgrounds had some sort of life, some sort of essence to them. I look at these backgrounds and they're so generic looking. Like something you would see in any given fantasy anime out on TV. There's this one scene where the character is seemingly standing in a desert, but when I looked at the ground, it didn't look like sand, it just looked like yellow paint that the character was standing on. The paint was so bright too that it just looked unnatural. And that was so weird because, again, Studio Ghibli films are known for their very realistic and detailed art. Where was the detail in that scene? It wasn't there at all. Okay, so I bitched enough about the animation. What about the music? Fucking forget about the music. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the story. What story? There's no focus. There's no direction, which makes so much sense because the guy who's directing the story is a first-time director and doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. There is absolutely no weight to any of the situations that happen in the story. Anything could have happened on screen and you would not be affected or moved in the slightest. Characters could have died, the world could have imploded, dragons could have started raping people, the Vikings come out of nowhere and start pillaging villages. None of it would have affected you. You would have been like, oh, okay, that happened, whatever. Not only that, there's a huge lack of focus in where the story is going. It would just take so many different turns, so many different directions. Like at first you think it's gonna be a story about this one kingdom dealing with the threat of the balance being thrown off, but nope, that gets scrapped. Now we're gonna follow this one kid named Bitchface, and he's in the desert and trying to run away from his sins, haunted by his past. Nope, we're just gonna throw that one away. And now we have him teamed up with Obi wanna be like Kenobi, and they go to this like one place and try to find the balance of brouhaha with the Force. And no, now they're in the farm and they're farmers now. It goes everywhere, all at the same time. And I found it strangely ironic that for a story that had so much going on in it, absolutely nothing of worth happens. But worst of all, guys, this film is completely boring! Nothing eventful happens. I'm not shitting you when I say that there was an entire 25 minutes of this film that took place on a farm, and all they did was plow the fields, take care of the plants and animals, and have discussions and go to bed for 25 minutes. And even before that, all they were doing was walking around and talking to people, but nothing happened. It's only after an hour and a fucking half of sitting through some of the most dull and pointless bullshit that something eventful actually happens. The farm girl gets kidnapped and taken to like some type of castle. Freaking bitch face nearly drowns in a swamp, and his other half tries to take over, but then he gets chased away by Voldemort Jr. and like they're all heading over to the castle, and fucking Obi wants to be Kenobi's going there with his lightning rod staff that looks like Gandalf the White Staff from Lord of the Rings, and they have like a conversation. It's so weird because even though we get to this point where something is starting to happen, after the kidnapping and Cobb Voldemort Jr. takes bitch face to his castle, then it's even more pointless nothingness. Because what happens? Fucking Obi wants to be Kenobi gets there and he just has a discussion with Voldemort Jr. He knows that he's responsible for the balance of the Force of brouhaha being thrown off balance, so why not have a fight? You guys are wizards, right? Can we see some magic in this film? Where's the magic? You see about maybe 3 or 4 moments of magic, and all of which are rather short and kind of pointless. The story is so weak and uneventful and dull, not worth your time. And we haven't even gone to the characters yet. Jesus Christ, we haven't even gone to the characters. I didn't give a shit about any one of them besides Sparrowhawk, and I only cared about him because he was a badass. Everybody else, fucking forget about it. Bitch face, I can't believe I'm about to say this, he's even worse than Shinji. Worse than Shinji. At least with Shinji, as much as he was a coward and a pussy, that was the point of his character, and you see him grow. You see him kind of break out of his shell and actually do what needs to be done. Bitch face, he ran from home, he runs away from responsibility, he talks about battling his demons, yet doesn't even fight his demons, or even like freaking other Robert brought up, you know, even feels remorseful for his actions. He fucking killed his dad, and he, at the end of the film, is just like, I need to go back. I need to pay for my crimes. Blah, 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 blah. It's not like, God, I just realized the terrible thing I did. How am I gonna be able to face my mom? How am I gonna be able to face my country? None of that shit, just like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't give a fuck at all, and you don't give a fuck about him. Bitch face is so bad. Even at the end where he supposedly grows a pair of balls and tries to fight freaking Voldemort Jr. He can't even fight him. He can't even fight him successfully. He has to be saved by a dragon ex machina that came out of fucking nowhere. Fucking nowhere. And his relationship with every character is so hollow and empty. I never felt I never felt he formed a connection with anybody. Even Sparrowhawk, who he spent the most time with. There's this one girl that he meets and saved from being kidnapped and put into slavery that he has a strained relationship with because she's very abrasive and she doesn't like talking to strangers, even though later on in the film she's totally comfortable with talking to them as if it wasn't even a problem to begin with. Not only that, this relationship comes out of nowhere. Nowhere! There was never a hint, never an inkling or a spark between them that would hint at the fact that they would ever be close or have a relationship. Every single conversation they had before they became buddy-buddy was always like very confrontational, very abrasive, and anger-based, you know? The last conversation that they had before she did her little ditty and they became friends, that he was like staring at her petting a sheep. And then she goes off on this tangent about how he doesn't care about life, even though he fucking saved her life not even 15 minutes ago in movie time. And yet she doesn't even seem to thank him for what he did, because it really could have caused him his life. No. Fuck you for saving my life. Okay, bitch. Whatever, man. And then all of a sudden, you know how they became friends? Bitch face is sent out to go find her, and she's singing on a hill to the sunset, and he starts tearing up like, oh my god, what a beautiful song that's not even beautiful at all. Oh, can we be friends now? Yeah, we can be friends. Then that's how they, boop, now they're friends now. Everything is fine. There's not a strained relationship between them. We're A-okay. The closest thing to a good relationship is the one that Obi, wannabe Kenobi, and Farm Girl had. I kind of bought their relationship. You could tell that there's history between them, you know? Regardless of what the history was, you can tell there was history and there's some sort of connection there. Even with freaking Obi, wannabe Kenobi, and Voldemort Jr., there's history there too. And speaking of Voldemort Jr., oh my god. He makes the villain from Lapida Castle in the Sky look deep and complex in comparison. This character is so one note, and he doesn't really have much of a flair to him. He's just a cliche baddie that wants to live forever. Gee, haven't heard that one before. Haven't heard that one before. Fucking hell, dude, what is up with this film? I shouldn't be so mad about this film, but considering the fact that it was made by Studio Ghibli, they produced it, they released it, after even watching it, they said, yep, this is passable. This deserves the stamp of approval from Studio Ghibli. What, were you all drunk one night and just didn't even think about how this film would damage your reputation? Oh, and the English dub? It's bad. There's one good performance. One. Timothy Olyphant as Obi, wannabe Kenobi. He's the only good performance in the entire film. And funny enough, he even sounded like Lord Yupa when he was voice acted for him. Willem Dafoe, I mean, he's not a bad voice actor, but he was always talking like this. Like, it was really under his voice. Don't I sound menacing when I talk like this? Because, you know, I used to play the villain. I was the villain in Spider-Man. We could rule the city together, Spider-Man. You and me, the Green Goblin. I talk like this. And every time he would be standing on the top of a staircase, talking down to people, and talking like this, just very slight whisper, you know, he's just talking like this as if he's talking normally to somebody, and the people below him, they act as though they can hear him and have a normal conversation. If that was me and freaking Voldemort Jr. was talking to me like, I have you now, Black Critic Guy, what do you think you're gonna do? Are you gonna escape? I don't think so, you're mine forever. I'd be like, what? What? I can't hear, speak up! Speak up! I know you can do it! What? What? I don't know, I just didn't like that performance. Maybe that's how it sounded like in the original Japanese version, so they were trying to remain faithful, but I mean, even though they were doing that, I don't think it succeeded. I think they should have switched it up and gave the character his own unique voice for the English dub, because it didn't work with the soft tone voice of Willem Dafoe, and the fact I couldn't even understand what he was saying half of the time because he's talking so low like this. Like, what are you even saying to me? Overall, I'm just so ashamed of this film. This film is an embarrassment. A huge embarrassment. Sure, it has some novel things that are pretty good, but the overall package, the overall quality is shit, especially when compared, hell, not even compared to Studio Ghibli films. You could compare this to any other film, any animated film, and it wouldn't even live up to that quality. It's a damn shame, and it's a huge black eye on this company. I can't believe I saw it, and I cannot believe I'm about to give this grade to a Studio Ghibli film. It's a 1 out of 5 stars. Oh, it hurt to say. It really did. It hurts to say that a Studio Ghibli film was an unnecessary waste of time. Oh, fuck you, Goro. Go back to landscaping, man. Oh shit. No, you have another film I need to watch. Hopefully you learned your lesson. It seems like a much simpler story than what you tried to tackle here in Tales from Earthsea. I feel like this was way too large of a scope for your first ever film. You should have started small.
So thank you guys so much for listening to my thoughts on the movie. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say in the comments below. I really hope you will also check out my channel. As I said, I do reviews. I do reviews mostly of television shows like Once Upon a Time, Supergirl, Flash. I'll also, as I said, I'm a big fan of Sailor Moon Crystal, so when that comes back for season 4, I'll be reviewing that. I did all of season 3. And I throw other stuff up there randomly, movies, etc. I also have a lot of animated videos, and I really hope you guys will tune in, and thank you for listening to my thoughts, and we'll talk real soon. Alright guys, bye!
Oh, I got such a bad headache right now. I should not have done all that yelling. Jeez. It's been quite a while since my last rant, hasn't it? Hope you guys enjoyed that, and I apologize if this video came off really unstructured and rambly and jumbled. I didn't feel like structuring this review because the film didn't feel like structuring its story and making it engaging and interesting for me to watch, even though it's a Studio fucking Ghibli film. I mean, what the fuck, man? Literally, I'm done talking about this film. As always, though, we're not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to Tales from Earthsea. I'm sure there are some of you out there that might have enjoyed this film. I seriously doubt it. If you call yourself a true Ghibli fan, there's no way you would ever say that this film was good or even decent on a Friday. It's bad. It's bad. But hey, I could be wrong. Maybe there are some of you out there that like it, so please, let me know what you thought about this film. Did you absolutely adore it? Is it your favorite Studio Ghibli film? Or you're like me and Rob and thought it was complete and utter shit? And let me know, what is the worst film you've seen from a critically acclaimed studio? Like Pixar, Walt Disney Animation Studios, DreamWorks, any studio that had such a prestigious name but got dragged into the dirt by one bad film. Comment below. Let me know. I want to take this time to personally thank my special guest, Rob from otherobert. I'm so sorry that this was your introduction to Studio Ghibli. God damn it, man. No! Please, do yourself a favor, buddy. After this, go see Princess Mononoke, go see Spirited Away, My Neighbor Totoro, Howl's Moving Castle, Ponyo, any of the other Studio Ghibli films. They'll be fine, because they're great. They're all really good. This is just, you got the short end of the stick with this one, buddy. I apologize for that. So, to make it up to him, guys, go check out his channel, subscribe to him, show him some love, because he's definitely going to need it after seeing this shit fest. And, as always, guys, you know, if you would like to support the Black Critic Guy just a smidge more, why not donate to my Patreon account? Link is in the description. And if you want to send me any fan letters for me to read on Thursdays, send it to this P.O. box right up here. And as always, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, not miss out on a single Studio Ghibli month review, and be a part of the Black Critic crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. I'm 21 II, just upset and cannot believe that this film is part of the Studio Ghibli lineup as the Black Critic Guy.